Welcome to the deep dive. Our mission, as always, is pretty simple. Take complex source material, break it down, and give you the key insights you need. And today, we're tackling something pretty big, a really seismic shift, you could say, in global energy and finance. We're looking at Japan's landmark pivot. They seem to be moving from seeing crypto as maybe a fringe risk to actually embracing state-linked Bitcoin mining and seeing it as critical national energy infrastructure. That's the key part. We've got some fascinating sources lined up, official press releases, some detailed utility reports, and crypto analysis focusing on a very specific hardware deal. This isn't just about rules changing, it's about power grids, stability, megawatts, industrial strategy, really, in one of the world's most advanced economies.
Right, and the trigger for all this discussion, the immediate news, is this deal between Canaan, one of the top Chinese mining hardware firms, and the major Japanese utility. Canaan's providing these advanced mining rigs for what they're framing as a, quote, grid stability research project.
That phrase right there, grid stability research project, that's what we need to unpack, isn't it? Because this is, well, it's Japan's first publicly known state-linked Bitcoin mining effort. For a country that's usually pretty cautious, historically, about integrating crypto on a large scale, this feels like a huge strategic move.
Oh, absolutely. The significance is hard to overstate. If you look at how Japan's utility sector is structured, and analysis from firms like VanEck confirms this, basically all 10 of Japan's regional power utilities have some level of government ownership. Partial, but it's there.
Okay, so that structure is key.
It's crucial because it means by facilitating this deal, Japan effectively becomes, what, the 11th country if you exclude the U.S., where it's more state-level mining Bitcoin with infrastructure that is state links. Puts them in the same kind of category as places like El Salvador, Oman, Bhutan.
That's some powerful context. Now, the utility itself, it's not officially named in the press releases, right?
No, not explicitly, but multiple reports are strongly suggesting the partner here is Tokyo Electric Power Company, TEPBs.
TEPCO. Wow. Okay. Japan's largest utility provider. Serving Tokyo in a massive region. That's not small potatoes.
Exactly. And having TEPCO involved, even if unofficially confirmed for now, it just grants Bitcoin mining instant official legitimacy in Japan.
Yeah.
At an institutional level, this isn't just some private company setting up shop. It signals that the technology is being woven into public infrastructure planning. They're looking at it not just as, speculative digital money, but as a serious tool for energy management. That's the core pivot, institutionalization via infrastructure.
Okay, but let me push back slightly here. If this is really about national strategy, energy security, why source critical hardware from a major Chinese firm like Canaan? Doesn't that sort of introduce potential supply chain risks or geopolitical angles that a G7 nation like Japan would usually try pretty hard to avoid?
That's a really important question, yeah. And the sourcing probably boils down to maybe two things. Speed and performance. Canaan is just a proven leader. They make the specific kind of high-performance gear needed for this particular job. It seems the Japanese utilities needed top-tier tested tech, like now, and this deal looks focused squarely on the technical capability of those rigs. They're prioritizing the immediate goal, that grid stability piece, maybe over longer-term geopolitical supply chain thoughts, at least for this initial phase.
Okay, that makes sense from a pragmatic point of view. So let's dive into that core technical idea, the real moment here. The deal involves Canaan's Avalon A1366HA rigs. They're hydro-cooled high performance. But here's the thing that sounds weird. Bitcoin mining is famous for using tons of energy, right? So how on earth does running a Bitcoin mine stabilize a power grid? It sounds completely backward, like pouring gasoline on a fire.
It does sound counterintuitive, I get that. But it actually shows a pretty deep understanding of, well, energy grid physics. Bitcoin mining has this unique capability. It can function as a what's called a digital demand response mechanism. It offers dynamic load balancing.
Okay, break that down. Dynamic load balancing.
Yeah, think about the power grid. It needs this perfect constant balance. Supply has to exactly equal demand moment by moment. But what happens when demand suddenly drops? Or when supply surges unexpectedly, like when the sun suddenly comes out strong for solar panels, or the wind picks up. You get this excess energy flooding the grid, and that imbalance can actually destabilize the whole system. cause real problems.
Right, and that's where we hear about renewable curtailment, isn't it? Where they just have to shut down wind turbines or solar farms.
Precisely. Curtailment. It's
Yeah.
literally forcing clean energy sources to stop producing power that's generated cleanly, but we just have to throw it away because the grid can't handle it right then without breaking.
It feels like such a waste. An economic waste, an environmental one.
It absolutely is. A tragedy, really.
So, okay, instead of just dumping that excess power, what do the mining rigs do?
They turn into Bitcoin. Instantly, they monetize it. See, these rigs are designed to be flexible. They can overclock, run faster, use more power, or they can underclock, slow down, use less power.
Mm.
And they can adjust their power draw, their hash rate, basically in real time. Milliseconds.
Oh, okay.
So when that sudden surplus energy hits the grid, the mining operation instantly ramps up its power consumption. It just absorbs that excess load. It acts like this huge, incredibly flexible energy sponge, soaking up every spare megawatt.
A sponge that makes money.
Essentially, yeah. It monetizes energy that would otherwise be completely lost or worse, cause grid problems.
And the specific hardware here, the hydro-cooled A1566HA, why is that detail important? Why hydro-cooled?
That's critical context, too. Your standard air-cooled mining rigs, they don't really like being rapidly ramped up and down all the time. They can overheat, wear out faster if you cycle their load constantly like that.
Oh.
Hydro-cooling, though, using liquid cooling systems, allows these rigs to handle those rapid, high-intensity adjustments much more reliably. They can run continuously at variable loads. So for a utility company trying to manage these big, sudden grid-scale power fluctuations, they need that demand response to be guaranteed, instantaneous, reliable. And the hydro-cooled systems deliver the kind of robustness and efficiency you need for it to actually function as a proper utility-grade asset.
So it really does turn that excess energy problem, that liability, into a profitable asset. You mentioned the Canaan CEO, Nanjing Zhang.
Yeah, he had a good quote on this. He called it a new model of energy-efficient grid interactive computing.
Grid interactive, that flexibility, that responsiveness, that's the key for making renewables work better, isn't it?
It's absolutely the game changer. And look, this isn't just some theoretical idea they cooked up. There's crucial backstory here. Back in September 2024, the Asahi Shimbun, a major Japanese newspaper, reported on TEPCO's subsidiary Agile Energy X, it's called. They were already testing Bitcoin mining, ran pilot projects up in Gunma and Tochigi prefectures.
Ah, so there were tests. And those pilots, were they specifically looking at this curtailment issue?
Yes, exactly. The initial goal was explicitly to find ways to prevent that local renewable curtailment, to prove the concept on a smaller regional scale first.
Okay, so this new big Canaan partnership, it really sounds like the commercial scale rollout based on those successful pilots.
That's how it looks, yes. Japan seems to be strategically deploying Bitcoin tech to make its whole renewable energy infrastructure fundamentally more efficient and robust. It's pretty clever.
And looking globally, Japan isn't entirely alone in this kind of thinking, right? You mentioned others.
No, they're joining a sort of accelerating trend. We've talked about El Salvador's volcano energy project using geothermal. Bhutan is using its excess hydropower for mining. Oman announced a huge $1.1 billion investment into mining infrastructure. Paraguay is looking at leveraging its hydro resources, too.
Even in the U.S., like in Texas, right? Don't they have programs where miners adjust power use to help the grid during heat waves or freezes?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Texas utilities have demand response programs where miners participate actively in grid balancing. But what makes Japan's entry so significant, I think, is that it marks a turning point. This isn't an emerging market looking for revenue streams. This is a major, highly developed OECD nation, technologically advanced. And they're explicitly framing Bitcoin mining as a tool for energy optimization within their sophisticated grid, not just speculation.
That's a powerful signal.
It really is. And it could provide a template, maybe even some political cover, for other developed nations wrestling with the same issues of integrating intermittent renewables. Think South Korea, Germany, maybe Canada. They'll be watching this very closely.
And this energy strategy seems to fit neatly with Japan's wider policy direction on crypto too, doesn't it? They're moving towards normalization.
Absolutely. It's happening in parallel. The government's planning to reclassify crypto, put it under the same Financial Instruments and Exchange Act as other standard financial products. And, crucially, they're looking at introducing a flat 20% capital gains tax on crypto profits. Much simpler, more predictable.
So it's like a coordinated effort.
Seems like it. You align the mining with national energy goals on one hand, and on the other, you normalize the tax and regulatory side. What it does is treat Bitcoin less like some rogue outlier tech and more like a formal, integrated component of both the energy system and the financial system. It really cements its place as, part of the official institutional infrastructure.
Okay, so looking ahead then, what does this mean for the players involved? Canaan, for instance.
Well, Canaan themselves have said they expect to expand these kinds of grid interactive mining projects elsewhere. They're targeting Asia, North America, Europe, maybe by 2026.
So Japan is the showcase.
Japan is the key proof of concept, I think. It shows you can do this. You can integrate Bitcoin mining with large-scale renewables within a complex, developed economy's regulatory framework and make it work. If this TEPSU project succeeds and scales, it could absolutely kickstart a whole new wave of similar deals globally, these sort of green mining partnerships between big hardware makers and utilities worldwide.
Okay, so let's just quickly recap the main takeaway from this deep dive for you, our listeners. This move by Japan's state-linked utilities, likely TEPCO, signals that Bitcoin mining is shifting. It's moving from the fringes, from just being about digital money, towards becoming a recognized institutional tool, an essential part, potentially, of managing smart grids and advanced economies. We really hope you found this breakdown useful. And hey, just a quick note, engaging with our content, subscribing, dropping a comment, sharing it, it genuinely helps us out a lot. Boosts visibility, helps the algorithm find folks like you, and lets us keep making these deep dives for you.
Yeah, definitely appreciate the support. And it leads us right into our final thought for you to chew on this week. A provocative one, maybe. If a country like Japan, highly advanced, but also energy scarce, facing real renewable integration challenges if they're now embracing Bitcoin mining to solve energy waste and boost grid stability, could energy optimization actually become the main driver for global Bitcoin adoption over, say, the next 5 years, maybe even eclipsing the purely financial speculation side? Something to think about. We'll leave it there for you.